There's higher level branches, starting anywhere from level 6 to 8 most common. Your sim will get every special unlock for the levels you skipped in your inventory or the household inventory, depending on the item. On top of that, they'll also get a signing bonus. They can actually get one of these each week, which could be useful for hopping between careers. From graduation onward, your sim will get more paid time off and larger performance gains, meaning it's easier to get to absurd levels of overmax. There's a distinguished version of each degree that will give you better bonuses. And you can also graduate with honors if your sim has a 3.9 GPA. So there are 4 versions of every degree, regular and distinguished, with and without honors. In order to pay for school, sims can also apply for scholarships based on things like being in scouts or having high skill levels in a few areas or low family funds. If you don't get a scholarship or not enough to cover the cost of enrollment, you can pay for attendance out of household funds or take out a student loan. The loans are very low interest at only like 5%, and at the same time you'll only spend about 5,000 tops with those scholarships. This is for 4 terms. I elaborate on this in case you wonder if Sims has given an option for a more challenging experience. It's extremely lenient, and because of the accessibility of scholarships, most players will have zero trouble paying off the bulk of their loans within a week of graduation. That's a small price to pay for the increased earnings you'll have as a graduate and shouldn't result in struggles for players, especially due to the signing bonus and the high rate you start at. To be blunt about it, it makes the addition of the Repo Man in this pack fairly pointless. Repo Man should have deserved its own header text here and counted as a feature addition if not for this fact. Dorms with roommates are a new feature of the pack with a couple pre-existing dorms located on each of the 2 campuses. You're able to make your own dorms with the new university housing lot type and will need to decide which of the schools that lot belongs to. From there, you can actually go a bit further and specialize the dorm as being for only students in one of the several organizations, or make them male or female only. So fraternities and sororities are not in this, but you can sort of make one. If you're unsatisfied with your dorm, and I'd say you're likely to be, you can freely build with the bb.enable pre-build sheet. This is a necessity to customize them because the only thing you can really do in dorms is drag things that are draggable around, although there are a selection of draggable objects. Roommates are also a big feature of this pack. The game finally has roommates whether in a dorm or just someone you shack up with to help pay the bills. Roommates are NPCs, meaning you don't control them, and they can have their own quirks. Some are really helpful and leave food out or keep things tidy and in working order, while others are disgusting and will actively break things and create a mess or a lot of noise. Sounds legit, doesn't it? All in all, finding a good roommate and collecting rent from them can help a lot with managing a household. You only need to assign them a bed. Once you're enrolled, the process of actually going to school means keeping up with class schedules by looking at the careers tab. They reuse this instead of making a new interface for classes. I do dislike this because I can't ever memorize what these classes are, so I'm constantly checking it and I find it really clunky. This will also help you to see if you've done homework or not for each class before its next session, or where you stand on the final you've got to complete before the end of the term. A term is 1 week. Actual attendance to classes is a rabbit hole, while you do see your sim working on things like homework, studying for finals, term papers, and presentations. The system's pretty simple, with your grade being based on whether you did these things for enough hours, with boosts coming from being in a focused mood, and the new study spot lot trait that comes with this pack. When class isn't in session, the campuses have a lot to offer, with both offering research machines your sim can use for a new skill, and the library to study in. Foxberry has robotics workstations, and Brightchester features podiums for debate, though both can access these. There's a student common area with a buffet object you can order food from, or get a quick croissant from the food carts outside. You have to do a good bit of juggling with 4 classes if you actually care about having good grades. Given there are a few other activities on campus that can eat up your time, it may mean there isn't a lot of time for strictly fun stuff. When I attended, I was constantly needing to be doing something, but to be clear, it was a personal choice because I took on the max classes and participated in student organizations later on. Those student organizations I mentioned are another key feature of Discovery University. Each campus has a few groups you can participate in. Wright-Chester has a research and debate guild and an art society for things like figure painting, and Foxbury has a robotics society and study group. The third organization for each school is the school spirit group, which will reward you with the school mascot costume and that rank. Yes, these are one more thing you can rank up in if you care to. Organizations have their own meeting times and completing tasks to be important with other members will be necessary for advancement. All in all, it's very doable to advance with these groups while taking 3 or 4 classes if you manage your Sims time well. I won't spoil it much, but no matter which university you attend, there is a 4th organization option. The Order of Enchantment Secret Society is joinable and offers up several abilities that your Sims can use, including a powerful boost to grades. To get access, you've just got to be a good member and get those ranks up. To get started, look into the main statue on campus and what offerings need to be made to perhaps attract a little attention from this exclusive club. There are very few new Sim activities in this pack centered around objects. For instance, there's a ping pong table where you can either play like a normal person or do a simplified version of beer pong. There's also a keg. All of these are simply for fun and don't really do anything. You can, however, attend the university as either an esports gamer or in the school's soccer program. And hitting the max level in this can result in your Sims being offered a high-level job in one of those careers before they've even graduated. This is only available to students. Your Sim can have fun riding around campus on a bike, but also with the cheap but handy soccer ball object that can be kicked solo or with a friend to burn off a little stress between classes. It's a small thing, but Sims can take skill classes on campus for a fee, whether they're enrolled or not. This can give low-level Sims a great start. If a Sim takes 11 mixology skill classes, they'll get a certification and have the bartender branch of the culinary career open to them. This pack does have a few new careers: engineering, law, and education. You can be a professor, but not that kind of professor. You'll be heading off to the rabbit hole and ranking up the old-fashioned way at times, or choosing to work from home in any of these three careers. The sad thing is, only engineer gets really good unique objects and interactions with its exosuit and helmet rewards, or computer glasses if you go with the computer engineer branch. Discovery University marks the return of Servo by the Robotics Guild, which also lets Sims make remote-controlled quadcopters, toys, and utility bots. The Servo is mostly fully featured, just doesn't have a lot going for it. You can upgrade them to an extent and choose their traits, and they have their own special durability need and a charge meter instead of a plain old energy. You've got to keep them dry, which might be a real pain to seasoned owners. Not to worry though, as Servo will join your household and another member can most definitely repair them as long as someone has the talent and robotics to do so. You could even use one of the utility bots to do it if you keep a fixer bot around. The Brave might even move Servo out with a fixer bot of his own to try to keep him alive. These bots can do some light work like repairs or gardening for your Sims, or offer up refreshments and meals to a party. Robotics as a whole can be fairly tedious to pursue due to the need to have all kinds of parts in order to make and upgrade bots. This means you using the order menu from the computer where you normally get handing us parts and needing hundreds of them to max out everything. It's a lot of clicking and being roadblocked and needing to go back to buy more parts. A skill that came as a pleasant surprise is research and debate. We didn't really know this was in the pack. This one's focused on learning to learn, and because of that, it's definitely helpful to students. You can learn it either by using Mirror to practice debate, participating in actual debates, or using the new super expensive research machine you can find in build mode. At high level, you'll do homework faster, study more effectively, gain more skill from reading skill books, and finish term papers and presentations faster. What is more, you can convince Sims to do your bidding. It's a nice support skill, and definitely handy for wrangling roommates. Mini fridges are a new addition in this pack and can have one object stacked on top, either something decorative or a microwave, which I can't recommend for anything other than an emergency. There's a new chest that has its own unique inventory, not shared, meaning you can have several unique ones. These can be labeled to help you store your collectibles however you would like. Aside from that, other objects are mentioned elsewhere here, and there aren't any items that have unique gameplay not attached to robotics or research. They're themed for the most part to decorate a dorm with a few really nice looking objects. Because of the huge CC community, I don't really focus on hair and clothing in packs. But this pack did bring in nose and eyebrow piercings, which people had been asking for. One female hair is the longest to date in a Sims pack, which is pretty cool trivia Playlot shared with me. There are a few full body outfits and some nice school jackets. You can also get a few outfits from the student organization activities and even unlock the mascot costumes if you're into that sort of thing. I want to share my thoughts on a few things. I was at times frustrated, but I did find the college experience itself to be engaging, if a little simple. It's all a time management game for the most part, and you'll earn an A if you do the things for long enough. Discovery University takes more time to complete than something like Roman Magic, and that's just to be expected due to the fact you need to attend for 3 weeks, and don't get any OP abilities right off the bat. Potion I found Brightchester to be a beautiful town with a decent atmosphere, but it's marked by the difference from other Sims from other packs. If this doesn't bother you, it's not a problem. But I want to be a robot club with mermaids, and this is a mistake that keeps being repeated. It's not too hard to add new Sims in the game and dress them properly. What they don't seem to understand is maybe I don't care if Bella Goth is there or not, unless I actively go pursue her. I don't really need her in my game. So, my opinion on the setting as a whole is fairly neutral. I don't like the layout of Foxbury due to all the stairs, but Brightchester campus was pretty good. Roommates can be used outside university, and that does have the potential to be fun play. Not having control over another sim, living their life in your home. But in dorms and large numbers, they were a bit repetitive. For example, in one of my videos, multiple violinists showed up in my sim's dorm. And this is frankly due to the fact that there are not nearly as many types of roommates as necessary to make it a dynamic experience in this setting. There are several roommate personalities and quirks, but when you have 8 or so roommates, you're going to get overlap, and especially if you consider attending multiple times. Everyone will end up with a room eventually that has multiple violinists. Some things are good here, but certain aspects feel rushed, or there are rabbit holes where there shouldn't be. Here's a good example. My Sims graduation was extremely bland, with one round of cheering that I initiated before they went into the rabbit hole one last time. In sharp contrast, the trailer showed Sims partying in their robes. Overall, once you have a degree or have burned out on that, the 2 new skills, roommate system, and the 3 new rabbit hole careers are the main way Discovery University will impact your play aside from the various dorm-centric build items that come with it. The only aspiration included here is a tutorial for completing a degree and getting a job, and the pack featured no traits to help give something to players after the excitement of attending is worn off. In these ways, it felt like Discovery University was onto something, and is certainly one of the best offerings of this year if you want your Sims to attend. But it feels like they just didn't have enough time to flesh out the product to make returning to campus for a few more degrees a fun experience. Outside of that, not having some unique interest rate rewards for the law and education kind of hurts the replay value when you're not enrolled, because you kind of already know it's just another one of those, only with a different set of skills needed. Decorative rewards are not gameplay. Certain things just didn't work out, but don't completely ruin the experience, namely the curve panel being used this way, and robotics. Had they considered it a bit more, I feel they might have done something to improve the systems around robotics to make it less tedious. So everywhere something was good, there's something kind of hindering it, and a little more time might have made a huge difference. It's right on the right track, and this could still be improved. Since I see both good and bad here, and my gripes may not matter to you, some people will be happy to go ahead and buy this. But do be warned, if you do not care about being a student, living in a dorm, living that college life, then this pack is not for you, and I'm sure you already know that. The point is, I am affirming your suspicion that this pack doesn't impact things much outside the world of Rochester. The content is very narrowly contained to the university experience, and mistakes hinder how well the remaining content can shine. Discovery University is something the Sims community wanted desperately for a long time now, and I don't blame them. It's a life sim, and this is a part of life. But I'd rather see players asking for expansion ideas that might actually bring some depth and new types of gameplay. Content that will challenge the developers to improve Sims 4 to bring personality to Sims and make the gameplay a bit more entertaining. If we ask for a product that improves Sim personalities, they'll probably get around to making and selling that, even if they can't do something a lot of us want free of charge, like a traits overhaul. I'd like to see it happen either way. Well, like it or not, those are my thoughts on this pack. It doesn't change the formula, and its existence is to fill a specific desire for the community. Go to college. It delivers something up to that point, and then mostly stops. Thanks for watching, and share this video if you really like it. And like it if you like it, and consider supporting us if you really enjoy what I do. I'm sorry I cannot be faster about these, but I have a lot of gameplay to look at, to update my guides, and it takes time to get around to a review because of that. Thank you. We convinced ourselves that they were gone, but they were just hiding. Hey everyone, and a quick thanks to EA Game Changers for a copy of the pack. So, I can be really abusive to my Sims sometimes. I'm sure plenty of you can relate based on the graveyards I've seen on Reddit. I'm an awful owner, but I really want to make up for that one time by giving at least one student I play a decent, non-stressful life. I jumped into Discovery University with 4 classes and 0 knowledge, and it was pretty intense for the Sim and myself. I've come to learn a lot of little boosts and time savers at this point. Even though I originally thought it was pretty hard to be in an organization with max classes, I have to take that back. So let's look at some things I did wrong, do them right instead, stack some bonuses, and in a couple places see a side-by-side comparison of what it's like with and without them. Because I am the type of person that likes to do as little work as possible, I thought I'd chase a distinguished degree that actually uses the new research and debate skill. Because it's ridiculously powerful no matter what degree you have, but it'd be even better if R&D overlapped with my degree so that studying would keep raising it. Looking through my extremely tedious to make degree guides, history does use that skill, and it also makes it possible to jump right into the judge branch of the new law career. And since I haven't covered it, I want my Sim to have some comfy robes. That's perfect. To get promoted as a judge, you also need the logic skill, and that also boosts distinguished history degrees. So, I get my Sim to level 3 in both research and debate and logic before I apply. See, having those with level 2 charisma makes it so that I'm 100% guaranteed to get into the distinguished history degree. Unfortunately, that's quite easy to pull off because the system is made so that even a Sim who flunked high school can get into these